Hello everyone and welcome to Mike's Classical Poetry page. On today's episode I will be reciting 10 classic sonnets from William Wordsworth. Widely regarded as one of the great English poets, he was also a prolific sonnet writer, having completed 523 of them in his career. In 1838, at the behest of his friends, he published them all together under the title The Complete Sonnets of William Wordsworth, collected in one volume, which I strongly recommend exploring. So, without further ado, here are 10 classic sonnets from William Wordsworth. Scorn Not the Sonnet by William Wordsworth. Scorn not the sonnet, critic, you have frowned, mindless of its just honors. With this key Shakespeare unlocked his heart. The melody of this small lute gave ease to Petrarch's wound. 1,000 times this pipe did Tasso sound. With it Camon soothed an exile's grief. The sonnet glittered a gay myrtle leaf amid the cypress with which Dante crowned his visionary brow. A glowworm lamp, it cheered mild Spenser called from fairyland to struggle through dark ways, and when a damp fell round the path of Milton, in his hand the thing became a trumpet, whence he blew soul-animating strains, alas, too few. The World is Too Much With Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. The sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan suckled in a creed outworn, so might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn, have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. Nuns Fret Not at Their Convent's Narrow Room by William Wordsworth. Nuns fret not at their convent's narrow room, and hermits are contented with their cells, and students with their pensive citadels. Maids at the wheel, the weaver at his loom, sit blithe and happy. Bees that soar for bloom, high as the highest peak of furnace fells, will murmur by the hour in foxglove bells. In truth, the prison into which we doom ourselves no prison is, and hence for me, in sundry moods, 'twas pastime to be bound within the sonnet's scanty plot of ground, pleased if some souls, for such their needs must be, who have felt the weight of too much liberty, should find brief solace there, as I have found. London, 1802, by William Wordsworth. Milton, thou shouldst be living at this hour. England hath need of thee. She is a fen of stagnant waters, altar, sword, and pen. Fireside, the heroic wealth of hall and bower, have forfeited their ancient English dower of inward happiness. We are selfish men. O raise us up, return to us again, and give us manners, virtue, freedom, power. Thy soul was like a star, and dwelt apart. Thou hadst a voice whose sound was like the sea, pure as the naked heavens, majestic, free. So didst thou travel on life's common way, in cheerful godliness, and yet thy heart the lowliest duties on herself did lay. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free, by William Wordsworth. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. The holy time is quiet as a nun. Breathless with adoration, the broad sun is sinking down in its tranquillity. The gentleness of heaven broods o'er the sea. Listen, the mighty being is awake, and doth with his eternal motion make a sound like thunder everlastingly. Dear child, dear girl, that walkest with me here, if thou appear untouched by solemn thought, thy nature is not therefore less divine. Thou liest in Abraham's bosom all the year, and worshipest at the temple's inner shrine, God being with thee when we know it not. Composed upon Westminster Bridge, September 3rd, 1802, by William Wordsworth. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by, a sight so touching in its majesty. The city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, silent, bare. Ships, towers, domes, theaters, and temples lie open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendor valley, rock, or hill, ne'er sigh, never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Dear native brooks, your ways have I pursued, by William Wordsworth. Dear native brooks, your ways have I pursued. How fondly whether ye delight in screen of shady trees to rest yourselves unseen, or from your lofty dwellings scarcely viewed, but by the mountain eagle, your bold brood, peer as the morning, angry, boisterous, keen, green as sea water, foaming white and green, comes roaring like a joyous multitude. Nor have I been your follower in vain, for not to speak of life in its first joys, bound to your goings by a tender chain of flowers and delicate dreams that entertain loose minds when men are growing out of boys, my manly heart is owed to your rough noise, triumphant thoughts no bondage can restrain. These words were uttered as in pensive mood, by William Wordsworth. These words were uttered as in pensive mood, mine eyes yet lingering on that solemn sight, a contrast and reproach to gross delight, and life's unspiritual pleasures daily wooed. But now upon this thought I cannot brood, it is unstable and deserts me quite, nor will I praise a cloud, however bright, disparaging man's gifts, the proper food, the grove, the sky-built temple, and the dome, though clad in colors beautiful and pure, find in the heart of man no natural home. The immortal mind craves objects that endure. These cleave to it, from these it cannot roam, nor they from it, their fellowship is secure. Most Sweet It Is, by William Wordsworth. Most sweet it is, with unuplifted eyes, to pace the ground, if path be there or none, while a fair region round the traveller lies, which he forbears again to look upon, pleased rather with some soft ideal scene, the work of fancy, or some happy tone of meditation slipping in between the beauty coming and the beauty gone. If thought and love desert us, from that day let us break off all commerce with the muse, with thought and love, companions of our way, whate'er the senses take or may refuse, the mind's internal heaven shall shed her dews of inspiration on the humblest lay. It is not to be thought of, by William Wordsworth. It is not to be thought of that the flood of British freedom, which to the open sea of the world's praise from dark antiquity hath flowed, with pomp of waters unwithstood, roused though it be full often to a mood which spurns the check of salutary bands, that this most famous stream in bogs and sands should perish, and to evil and to good be lost forever. In our halls is hung armory of the invincible knights of old. We must be free or die who speak the tongue that Shakespeare spake, the faith and morals hold which Milton held. In everything we are sprung of earth's first blood, have titles manifold. So that concludes this episode of Mike's Classical Poetry Page. I hope you enjoyed listening. Like and subscribe below and follow the banner for additional episodes. Hope you have a great rest of your day.